Clerk to call the roll.
Commissioner Bernard.
Here.
Commissioner Kerner.
Here.
Commissioner Marino.
Here.
Commissioner McKinley.
Here.
Commissioner Sacks.
Here.
Mayor Weinroth.
I am here.
Vice Mayor Weiss.
Here.
Commissioner Bernard, I understand that you are going to give us our invocation today and the Pledge of Allegiance. Please, everybody rise.
Gracious God, we thank you for the earth, our home. As we journey through our human life, its miracles are too many to number, and its fragility too easy to dismiss. Help us to honor and revere its wonders so that we protect and care for it as we would both a child, young and filled with possibility, and a beloved elder, graced with wisdom gained through experience. Open our eyes to behold its unseen blessings, unstop our ears to hear its pain, and fill our heart with love for all that it is so graciously, generously gives. We ask for the sake of your love. Amen.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Commissioner Bernard, for setting the tone for today. All right. Do we have any adds, deletes, or substitutions to our agenda?
We do not. Actually, item 1C, proof of publication. I apologize.
Where is my agenda? I don't have an agenda. All right, I'm going to look for a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Okay, a move by Commissioner McKinley, seconded by the Vice Mayor. All in favor, all opposed. Show it as a 6-0 with Commissioner Sacks absent from the dais. Show it as a 7-0. I assume that you approve the agenda with us. Thank you for a copy of the agenda, Commissioner Marino. Okay, do I have proof of publication?
Yes, Mayor, we do.
May I have a motion to receive and file? I have a motion by the Vice Mayor. I have a second by Commissioner Kerner. All in favor, all opposed? Okay, we've approved the motion to receive and file. All right. We are now going to have a discussion. If there's no discussion from the dais, we'll go immediately to public comment. And the public comment, as I stated before, these will be 2-minute comments. You don't have to take all 2 minutes. And this is only on the issue of postponement. Commissioner Sacks, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. I believe, and I've only been here a year and a half, but I believe we need to have a motion and a second on a motion to postpone and then a vote.
We don't have to make that motion. Well, we can make it now. I'll look for a
I prefer
motion.
to allow the public to speak first before we make a motion.
All right.
That's fine. I agree with that. That'll be
Okay,
fine.
very good. So we're going to go ahead and hold the motion in abeyance and see what the public has to say today. Commissioner Kerner, would you please call our first 2 guests?
Yes, Mayor, and just for the public's information and for your information, Mayor, I have 2 sets of cards here, one on 2B, the postponement, and then a larger one on 3A1. So
Very
I'll
good.
call 2B now. We'll start with Christine Hemphill, followed by Maria Pisano, Balforis, and then Sam Cintron.
Please identify yourself for the record.
Christine Hemphill, Lake Worth, Florida. I am opposed to delaying this. I think that the people are sitting in their area, having their life, and it's like giving them death by anxiety, waiting for their diagnosis from their biopsy. I think people want to live their life and relax, and this has been in the discussion since well before COVID. I remember going to the Regional Planning Commission years ago when this first got brought up and discussed. even when our mayor then was supporting that we preserve and save the ag reserve, and that was the position we took at the Regional Planning Coast Commission. In the background, some of the same people were talking about the swap. So this is something that's been out there a long, long time, and I don't see any good reason that in 6 months or 9 months or a year, anything is going to be different. The other thing I think is that the public is who you represent, not a developer. And in the issue, I think the public has been weighing in with you. I know the developer practically lives at your office these days because when I've been by the building, they've been hanging out. So my guess is that you've heard from the public, and in a few months, the public is still not going to be any different from what they are today. I think everyone knows how they feel about this issue, and I think it's unkind to drag it out because someone isn't prepared, or whatever reason they want to drag it out. I don't see it being appropriate.
Thank you very much for your comments.
Maria Pisano Barrow, Torres, 17627 Mellon Lane, Jupiter. I actually put that I did not want to speak, but my comment is brief. I just oppose the postponement of the item and wish for you to finally take a vote on this. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your comments. Commissioner Kerner, can we have the next two?
Yes, sir. Following Sam Cintron, we'll have Linda Smith, followed by Gail Ladd.
Good morning. I found out that this was going to be postponed today, last minute. A lot of us have come prepared. Many of us haven't. When they found out they haven't come, it's been postponed. They didn't come. So it could have been better attended. I think this is a legal maneuver like that lawyers do all the time, a maneuver of attrition to wear us down. I think these people are highly paid. That's what they do for a living. We're volunteers, and we're not going to be worn down. We're still going to keep coming, but I'm opposed to this strategy.
Thank you so much for your comment. Ms. Smith, you are recognized.
Hello, Linda Smith. I live in Jupiter, Florida. The word I would use is ridiculous. If I knew now how the other 6 commissioners were going to vote, I could sit down and save some time, but I don't. So I'll use my 2 minutes now, hoping we won't have to spend hours of staff commissioners' time, taxpayer dollars on the swap from now until May, and even in May it may get postponed again. How long does this go on? Staff is correct. They don't invite us to the table because we just say no to more development in the Ag Reserve. We don't have the resources to cover the county. We can only focus on the Ag Reserve. It's definable. It's relatively small. We have background in history and expertise earned through sitting in these meetings with you and in the public, researching in the library and other civic meetings. I shudder to think about what's going on in other parts of the county, but I can't worry about that. GL will try to sweeten the deal, make it work better for the county. They know they don't have the votes today, that's why they're postponing. But in 8 months, they will improve the deal and hope maybe to sway 1 or 2 of you. Please be sure to weigh the cost to taxpayers for staff time, your time, and volunteer time. Surely there is something more beneficial to the public you all could be working on for the next 9 months. I carpooled here with 3 other people in Jupiter. Depending on how this vote goes, we'll leave together or we'll be here for the duration.
Thank you, Ms. Smith. We appreciate your comments.
Following Gail Ladd, we'll have Drew Martin, then Heidi Mahaffey.
Gail, you have.
Good morning. I'm Gail Ladd from Jupiter, and I would think that you would get tired of seeing us come here. However, it's the same deal, and we love seeing you, but not on this subject. I totally wish that you vote no on postponement. As our first few speakers have said, it's been a long time. And I think the developers should have known right now what they need to do from the very beginning. And this just needs to end right now with a no vote. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Mr. Martin, always good to see you.
Good to see you, Mayor. First, I want to thank Commissioner Bernard for an excellent prayer to open the meeting. And if that's original, you should publish it. That is absolutely beautiful. I really appreciated what you had to say. He's really set a high mark for the rest of the commissioners when you have to do a prayer, because you better go to the commissioner and get some advice. He really knows how to prepare something. We feel that the county's been working on this for a long time. And you had a workshop last year, and you've been talking about this plan, and the county did a lot of due diligence, and the county staff has said it's not a good idea. So the real question now is, does it make sense to postpone this? I'm not sure there's additional information that is going to make this a good deal. And that's really the question. Because right now, this is not a good deal. And I sent you all an email last night at 9:30 because, of course, we didn't find out about this till 3 o'clock. But the real issue is, and I think a number of the other speakers have spoken to this, is that will you continue to spend extreme amount of county resources reviewing this deal if it's just not a good deal, if it's not really going to work? And the real question is, are you going to try to do the job of the South Florida Water Management District? We don't know. But when you weigh this decision, and we think that you have the facts to make that decision today, I think you really need to think about, is there additional information that's really going to make a difference? Or can you basically make the decision today? So we think you have adequate information to make that decision. So we recommend not to postpone. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Martin. Always punctual on ending your statement.
Following Heidi, Mayor, we'll have Karen Marcus and then Carrie Snyder.
Good morning. Heidi Mahaffey on behalf of Sierra Club Loxahatchee Group. We respectfully request that you deny the postponement request. This project is ripe for review and denial. The very fact that there are still so many outstanding questions is evident that it is not a good proposal for the county. There is no actualized benefits. We have experts here today that can go into detail on this issue. The county staff has spent significant time and resources in reviewing the proposal and again comes to the conclusion of denying. I have had the pleasure of speaking with many of the commissioners this month, and for those that I did not do, I hope to speak with you in the future. This has been a project that has been in the works for years, and it has come to fruition for today for a decision to be made. We ask that you allow an engaging discussion between the experts that are here today, between the Resource County Manager, and really decide, is this something that is going to be appropriate for the county? And we do not believe that it will be. The developer has had many opportunities to get it right, and a delay in time is not going to make this a better project. We respectfully request again to deny the postponement, but if you do go forward with a postponement, May of 2023 is far too long to get this right. We respectfully request again that you deny. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right. Following Karen Marcus, we'll have Carrie Snyder and Dr. Lori Vinokur.
Commissioner, it's always good to see you back in our chamber.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good morning. It's Karen Marcus, President of Sustainable Palm Beach County, and we are here to request you do not postpone this project, that you hear it today. I think we're all ready. I will say very briefly that this has been long in the works. You can change the color of the lipstick on the pig, but it's still a pig. So I just leave you with that thought. Nothing against pigs, but I don't see how you make this any better with any more time. So there's too many issues. So thank you, and please deny the postponement.
Thank you very much for your comments.
Good morning, Carrie Snyder. I would also like to request that this postponement be denied by the commissioners due to the amount of time that the developer has had to come forth today. And I feel that this parcel of land that's under consideration is a large portion of what's remaining in ag land, and we need to make the decision to protect the agricultural reserve, what's remaining of it. I encourage the commissioners to step forward with this and not allow the developers to lead the county. We really need you here on this issue today, and I hope that you deny the postponement. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your comments. Dr. Vinokur.
Good morning, Mayor Weinroth, Vice Mayor, and Commissioners. I'm Lori Vinokur, President of the Alliance of Delray Residential Associations. I live at 10626 La Reina Road, Delray Beach, that's in the agricultural reserve. The Alliance is prepared to move forward today if a postponement is not granted. My executive board is actually on its way trying to get a parking space here. And you did receive a letter last evening of our voicing concerns with the Water Resources Task Force revelations. So I see the public doesn't seem to be a whole lot of the public here today. I think they were a little discouraged hearing that there might be a postponement. But the Alliance will accept your decision and whatever it is today, and we're prepared to move forward. Thank you.
Thank you again for your comments.
All right, next we'll have Joe Donald, followed by Barbara Roth and Richard Moyrod.
Mr. O'Donnell, we will acknowledge your email. I think we've all had an opportunity to read it.
In other words, don't repeat it.
You always have 2 minutes, and you can take whatever you want to do with that.
First of all, I appreciate being considered a guest here. Regarding the postponement, the applicants had 6 months to do his work. And what we have as a result of that 6 months, I think it would be fair to call a superficial and incomplete work document. I characterize it as it'll take a cascade of miracles for this thing to be realized. It's dependent on, first, the county doing it, not the applicant, and it's dependent upon changing the mind of the federal government, the state government, and the South Florida Water Management District to make this happen. And again, it's up to the county. So I think it's time that we make a decision, because significant resources are required on the part of all of us each time these things are delayed, particularly the county. I need to qualify my comments today. I was unable to effectively reach our group at Sarah, so I'm speaking for myself as opposed to for Sarah. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. O'Donnell. We appreciate that. Barbara?
Good morning, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners. I too was struck by Commissioner Bernard's invocation this morning. I wrote wonders down on the top because I didn't want to forget that that's why we're all here. I am quoting Myrna Russoff from Planning Commission, August 12th. She was not able to be here today, but she was before Planning Commission. And she turned and said, look at all the people who are here, to the planning commissioners, and I'm honored to serve there, but I say the same thing to you, commissioners. Those of us who show up over and over again are here because of the wonders of Palm Beach County. We have listened to this in some form or another since 2016. If we as a county and you as a deciding body cannot make the decision by now, I just don't know when there's going to be additional information. I, Barbara Roth, urge you, plead with you to not grant a postponement and to be done with this now, once and for all. What are we going to hear or learn? I don't say that GL has any bad intentions, but they are a business. Good for them. But since 2016, when they were granted the rights at Indian Trails, and they have not come forward with something for there, they don't want to build houses in Indian Trails. They want to build houses in the Ag Reserve, where they are more valuable. It's business. I don't take it personally, but it's not good for the wonders of Palm Beach County. I urge you to deny a postponement request. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Following Richard Moyrod, we'll have Melissa Magani, followed by Chaim Glasser.
My name is Richard Moyrod. I live at 7667 Parkland Road, Lake Worth, Florida. Since you have broken this down into postponement and then the question of the Ag Reserve, I'll make my comments about the postponement. As you've heard before, you have all the information. You can make a decision today, and you can make a negative decision and send this on its way once and for all. You should be ashamed when you see the Palm Beach Post headlines showing that you have allowed 1,000 workforce homes when you should have had 20,000. This is what you have done. Number two, I'm a reasonable man. I think a postponement could be done. I think 5 to 10 years would be a reasonable postponement. I'm not laughing. This is enough. Enough is enough.
Thank you so much.
Following Melissa, we'll have Chaim, then Debbie Murphy.
Good morning. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak. As a resident of Palm Beach, I adamantly oppose this postponement. I've taken the work day off today, as I did last week, to speak about the workforce housing. It's not fair. I'm losing income by coming here. I don't get paid for this. My investment is in the place that I live and for future generations. I'm asking you not to postpone this, to move forward with this. This is a bad deal for the people of Palm Beach County. It's not a good deal. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Rabbi Chaim Glazer, here representing Torah Academy, Boca Raton, 21556N Lorenzo Avenue, Boca Raton, Florida. And I want to thank the mayor, the vice mayor, and the county commission for hearing this important topic. I am here in favor of postponement. This proposal is something which has tremendous benefits for South Palm Beach County, for Boca Raton in specific. Part of this proposal would grant a civic site which would be used by the county and a private civic site which has been pledged to Torah Academy. Torah Academy is one of the fastest growing Jewish day schools in America, now having 747 students located on 4 different campuses. Having a land grant to our academy to be able to secure the future of Jewish education here in Palm Beach County is something which will be transformative for the Jewish community. So I would urge you to postpone the matter for today so that this is something which could go forward for the future of the Jewish community.
Thank you very much.
Following Debbie Murphy, we'll have Kay Gates.
Good morning, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners. My name is Debbie Murphy, and while I am Second Vice President of COBRA, I am here speaking to you as a resident of Pine Tree Country Club Estates. I attended the Planning Commission meeting a few weeks ago at which GL Homes presented the land swap proposal. The major takeaway for me at that meeting was that GL Homes will be the recipient of a golden goose, while the residents of the county may or may not gain water benefits. And if it is a benefit for the county, it may not happen for years, maybe even decades. I have tremendous respect for GL Homes. I have many friends who live in GL communities. They build an excellent product. But my gut reaction to their request for postponement is shenanigans. I sincerely doubt that there will be sufficient information and permitting amongst the numerous parties involved in the next 9 months to warrant postponement at this point. Let's keep the current rules in the Ag Reserve in place. Preserved land in the Ag Reserve should remain there and not be transferred to another part of the county. Please vote to deny this postponement and this project. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you so much for your comments.
Next, we'll have Kay Gates, followed by Sheila Calderon and Lisa Interlandi.
Good morning, Commissioners. Thank you, Mayor Reinroth, for your email last night. I decided to come anyway. I'm against the postponement. I think probably most of the commissioners here already know which side of the line they're going to fall on this. Why put it off? I know that I have sent you some pretty curt letters. I hope they're fresh in your mind. I don't think I need to remind you of all the environmental reasons why this change should not happen, the way this permit should not be permitted. I'd like to remind you about something else. Palm Beach County has a reputation for excellence, a reputation for creating amazing, innovative plans and projects. One of them was the Ag Reserve. The Ag Reserve has been featured on many other counties and state websites and informing their residents about what an amazing idea and plan the Ag Reserve was. I think the county commission that was in, the county commission that was then sitting when the Ag Reserve was created had some amazing ideas. They weren't perfect. They planted all those mahogany trees. That was a mistake in places where there wasn't enough room for them. But overall, the basic rules created to keep all of the TDRs, all of the preserve areas within the county is sound and will perpetuate this wonderful program that our county commission created. I think you know where you stand. Don't bother to postpone. Go forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments.
Following Sheila, we'll have Lisa Interlandi.
Hi. I'm still catching my breath from finding a parking space. It's impossible. At any rate, I don't know that I can put this any better than Kay has just put it, okay? She and I have been before the county commission since early 2000s, maybe even before that. We saw everything about the agricultural reserve coming to light, and we have seen over the years, okay, how much development has been permitted. That 60-40 has got to remain. You cannot go ahead and approve a GL Homes program, okay, that will put, shall I say concrete, but that will put all homes on an area that should be partially, at least partially, okay? 60% of it should be preserved at the minimum, and it's in a very bad location. As far as this postponement, I wrote you all a letter also last night. I think it's absolutely ludicrous that we should even be asked, that they should even be asking for a postponement at this point. And I plead with you, just go ahead with this and let's not put it off any longer, one way or another. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Lisa Interlandi with the Everglades Law Center. We agree with a lot of the other comments that have been made. We think that you should not postpone this. So much staff time has already been wasted on this. We think that this project should have been denied right out of hand. It is fatally flawed to the extent that it relies on, first, it destroys the Ag Reserve and completely undermines the very important project that was established 20 years ago as part of, guess what, a bond referendum that you asked the voters to approve. That was part of a program to protect the Ag Reserve. The other part of the program were the rules that were put in place to protect it long term and to protect the public's investment in the land that we did acquire. So we urge you for that reason not to postpone this and then go ahead and deny it. But beyond that, we feel like this is fatally flawed because it's relying on a home builder to build a major water resource project. That is, in fact, why they asked for the delay. That's why they've asked for the postponement, because it's become clear that they don't know anything about building a massive water resource project. There are so many questions that were raised in the letter from your staff to them. I didn't support this at the Planning Commission meeting 2 weeks ago because I thought it was ridiculous that we are relying on a home builder to build water projects. These projects are extremely complicated. They are built by the Army Corps of Engineers and the South Florida Water Management District, who do this as a matter of their living. That's what they do for their jobs every single day. And they still make mistakes. Projects still have to be redone, and they cost tons of money, and it's absolutely not worth it to go forward. If you want to put water on that land, there are other ways to accomplish that. It is absolutely not required to dismantle the Ag Reserve to do that. Vote today to deny this postponement. Do not waste a single moment more of staff's time on this, and then start working to solve those problems in that region, completely outside of the Ag Reserve. Those things should never have been connected, totally mutually exclusive. We urge you to deny it. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your comments.
Mayor, I believe those are all the comment cards on the postponement, unless I missed anybody.
All right. We have some hands up, so we're going to quickly do a recount. Hold on.
I know that all cards marked as 2B have been called. I don't know
All
if
right,
the
I'm going
mayor-
to ask those who felt that they put a card in to set yourselves up either at this microphone, this microphone. I'm going to ask you to identify yourself very clearly, and if we can't find your card, I'm going to ask you if you will please do a duplicate card. So I'm going to ask you to just to, among yourselves, sort of split yourself in half. Rabbi, you're going to be the first person that we're going to recognize. Again, clearly for the record, since we don't have a card right now, identify yourself.
Thank you so much. I'm Rabbi Barry Silver. I want to congratulate you on having a fine county attorney and someone I know personally. Excellent. And the opening prayer was really good. And if we don't protect the Ag Reserve and our environment, then we won't have a prayer at all. And as a rabbi, I appreciate that very much. The definition of cancer is uncontrolled growth. And that's what we've seen in the Ag Reserve. And we don't need the cancer to spread. We need to deny the postponement and deny the project. The voters said they wanted an agricultural reserve, and that vote and the money they put in should be respected. I do have an issue with GL Homes. I don't mind them making money, but they shouldn't make money at the expense of the environment. GL should not stand for greedy landowners. They should be responsible people and not try to destroy the planet for private gain. As far as the good rabbi, who I take issue with, you want to have an academy, and you want to teach children. What would you be teaching children if you put a Jewish school in agricultural land? Judaism protects agriculture. Judaism sides with the environmentalists, not against them. Judaism believes that this planet is a wonder, as was mentioned, and that we should protect this wonderful earth of ours. Couldn't think of a more horrible lesson to teach Jewish kids than that the Jewish community is going to conspire with landowners to destroy what's left of this planet. I have kids, and we drive up and down 441 with tears in our eyes as we see the planet and our earth being destroyed. And so, yes, you can change the lipstick on a pig, but this pig is not kosher. And I urge you to reject this project. Thank you.
Thank you, Rabbi. Okay, please, nothing from the audience except remarks. Rabbi, we found your card, so we don't need a second one. And Mr. Knight, we found your card, so you don't need to do a second one.
Thank you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners. Jim Knight, 740 Havana Drive, Boca Raton, Florida. I'm native from Palm Beach County, lived here my whole life, and as I said at the last meeting, hopefully I'll live the rest of my years here. I think what's critical here, and one of the things that people aren't looking at and weighing in on, is the workforce housing program in Palm Beach County, and the fact that the for sale product, there's not been much delivery at all when you go and look at it. And if you look at those pricing of the for sale product, as of July 1, 2022, I'm looking at the workforce housing program on the county's website as we speak, it's from $189,630 from the low up to $352,170. It's my understanding that there was a proposal to actually build workforce housing units, not pay money into the program to where the county, I know they're working to build some, but you can't do it. I mean, you can't buy the land, let alone build it for that kind of money. And I just think it's important to, and I don't know what the best way is to get actually workforce housing units built, but that's what I'd like to see, not continually paying money into the program. And I would support whatever gets the workforce housing actually built by the developer. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Okay, again, identify yourself clearly so we can check for your card.
Robert McLaughlin, Delray Beach, Florida, and I don't think I can articulate it any better than Rabbi Silver has, not to take your time up, but I'm adamantly opposed to any postponement, and surprisingly, I don't think it should have gotten to this level. The honor, the integrity, and the nobility of this commission should not compromise the agri-reserve whatsoever. People made commitments such as yourselves years ago, and there's no reason to broach them at this point. Thank you very much for your time.
Okay, we have not located your card yet, so I'm going to ask if you would please fill out a second one.
Did you submit a card? Sorry.
You
The
find
card,
it?
you got-
No, I just
Robert
wanted to check.
McLaughlin.
What's the last name? McLaughlin, Robert?
Oh, my hearing, too many bombs in the Marine Corps.
I
Too many
understand.
hearing.
I'm going to ask you to fill out another card because we're having trouble finding your original one. Just
Okay.
one of those.
No
and
problem. Thank
hand
you.
it to the clerk. Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Mark Silverman. I'm Vice President of the Stonebridge Property Owners Association. We're the adjacent neighbor on the south border of the proposed Hyder West development in Boca Raton. Our community voted overwhelmingly to support the land swap. GL Homes informed us yesterday of their decision to postpone the application to work out details associated with the proposed water project. We respectfully request that you support the postponement. Thank you.
Thank you. We found your card, Mr. Silverman, so
Thank
you
you.
don't have to fill out another one. Mr. McLaughlin, we found your card, so you don't need to fill out that second one. Thank you. Would you identify yourself, please?
Good morning. My name is Griselle Ramos, and I am a resident of Loxahatchee.
Can you just say your last name again?
Ramos, R-A-M-O-S, Griselle Ramos. I am a resident and community member of Loxahatchee. We are in support of the postponement. We've heard a lot here today, but not really from anyone adjacent to the land that GL owns next to Loxahatchee. They have been working in good faith with our community. We really support this land swap because we don't have the infrastructure and we need the reduction in traffic. The residents in Loxahatchee of specific units will only pay for road maintenance as a result of the land swap. And not only that, and more importantly, we need the land for water storage or a plan to drain water in the event of flooding rains, which we have been subject to in the past. So this is a necessity for us, and we appreciate GL Homes working with us on this, and we ask that you grant them the postponement so
Ms.
that we can
Ramos,
iron
we
this out.
found your card. You don't have to fill out another
Thank
one.
you very
Thank you
much.
so much.
Hello, Kevin Costello. I'm a farmer in the Ag Reserve. I've got 12 locations that I farm on from north to south. I want to say that, in my opinion, as a farmer, the Ag Reserve is not a rural area anymore. It's an urban area. I run machinery up and down the road. My machinery goes 16 miles an hour. Even with an escort vehicle, I have had trucks totally demolished by rear-end collisions. This is an urban environment. I was at the meeting that when they designed the Ag Reserve, I don't know how many years ago, and I remember talking to water managers at that point that worked for the county that said that the Ag Reserve had the highest average rainfall east of the Mississippi, and that the necessity for the Ag Reserve was had to do with water, and that's why they wanted this 60-40, and that's how this thing occurred. Okay, and GL Homes has complied with the law. They have done everything that they were supposed to do, and I'm real grateful for all the people that love agriculture, but you know, I don't see landowners up here but myself. And in my opinion, you can't find a landowner in the Ag Reserve that has anything bad to say about GL Homes. They've done everything that they said they were going to do, every deal that they've ever had in the Ag Reserve. And I think you can count on them to deliver whatever they say they're going to do, they're going to do. You know, this is
Mr. Costello, I understand your point, but I'm going to ask you to focus on the issue before us. Should we grant the motion or
whatever
not?
is in the best interest of the public that you guys decide is good with me.
Thank you, Mr. Costello. We found your card, so you don't need to fill out another one.
My name is Carl Terwilliger. I'm at 5782 Ranches Road, Lake Worth. I'm here to ask you to take up this issue today and resolve it. My degree is in agronomy. I've watched Palm Beach County change since 1982 when I first came here. Anyway, I'm very concerned about the loss of agricultural land, particularly this section where the soils do not oxidize, where the Gulf Stream protects us from cold fronts, and the fact that we're providing food, winter vegetables, et cetera, not only to Palm Beach County and South Florida, but to the rest of the East Coast. I think it's crazy to be bringing in our vegetables from California and other countries who are now suffering from droughts and flooding, et cetera. And
Can I ask you to focus on the motion? Should we grant it or should we not grant the motion?
Right, I think we should go ahead and discuss this. So postpone, do not grant their motion to postpone this meeting.
Thank you. We found your card, Ms. Twirler, just so you don't need to fill out another one.
Hello, I'm Alexis Rossi, 83 Meadows Drive, Boynton Beach, Florida, 33436. I'm here to oppose the motion to postpone the vote. It feels a little bit like I'm not a football player, but it does feel a little bit like icing the kicker. Like they knew going into this that the water was an issue. In their original plan, it wasn't talked about. Why is the motion filed yesterday to ask for a postponement? We've been talking about this since like February. I've been at these meetings. I work full-time, not for GL Homes, so it's very difficult for me to get to these meetings, but I am continuously taking PTO because this is such an important issue to me, the coyotes and the cows, as Vice Mayor and I talked about last time I was here. So anyway, short and sweet, I oppose the postponement. Let's just vote one way or the other so I don't have to keep taking my PTO to come here and see you smiling faces.
Thank you very much, and we found your card, so you don't have to fill out another one. Okay.
Kenneth Yerms, Boynton Beach, Florida. First, I want to thank you, commissioners. Thank you for providing citizen input. Thank you for providing the citizens 2 minutes uninterrupted input. I believe that's really fair and reasonable. I have 3 different quick things to say. Regarding the application, there are no changed circumstances which warrant a change, alteration, or variation to the existing comprehensive plan on the property.
I'm going to ask you not to go to
Okay,
the
to the
application,
substance.
but just go to the motion before us, whether we
Yes.
should postpone or not today.
I ask each commissioner to vote no to the application change. I believe the applicant has not met their burden of proof.
I'm going to ask you again to focus on the motion before us.
Okay.
Should we deal with this today, or should we grant the motion of the applicant
As regards to
postpone?
the, yes, as regards to the extension, the question to me is, has the applicant met their burden of proof and given a reason why they should have the extension? I'm not going to reiterate what everybody said. I ask you to deny it. But I do want to add one thing as regards to the farmers. The farmer said that he believes that the farmers are for GL Homes because GL Homes has been providing an excellent job, and I don't deny that. But the one thing he didn't bring up is the landowners, the farm owners, bought land years ago at a fraction, let's say $1 million for 350 acres. Now they have the opportunity to sell
I'm
for...
going to rein you in. I think
Okay.
you've made your point.
Got
You
it.
don't feel that there should be a granting of the motion.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. We found your card.
Thank you.
And I'm Jean Yerms, and I am voting do not grant the extension. Please deny.
Thank you, Mrs. Jerem, and we found your card as well. We're doing a great job up here finding cards.
Patricia Edmondson, 1 Abbey Lane, Delray Beach, Florida. I urge you to deny the postponement. We've talked about this and talked about this and talked about this. Deny the postponement. Let's make a decision.
Thank you, and we
Thank
found
you.
your card.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Thank you for allowing me to speak.
Your name, please.
Jeffrey Bell, 1221 Singer Drive, Riviera Beach. I grew up in Delray Beach a long time ago before any development along Military Trail. I wish we'd had these conversations 50 years ago. The best part of this is it's looking to the future. I'm not sure why everybody expects GL Homes to do the whole water plan. They're giving you the land. Why don't give it to the state and let the Florida Water Management figure it out? But I'm very concerned about the water that dumps out of the Okeechobee into the...
Mr. Bell, I'm going to ask you...
I'm in favor of supporting the motion to postpone.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Bell. We appreciate that.
Good morning, County Commissioners. Bill Nugent, 1707 Florida Avenue, West Palm Beach. I appreciate all your service. These circumstances are never easy. I did submit a card. I suspect
found
that
it.
Great. I've been following this issue closely, attended the planning board meeting. It seems clear to me that the one thing that is constant that many of us can agree on is that there are still questions to be answered. And so I hope, in light of that we will allow for the fullest of hearings of this issue and that you will grant the postponement.
Thank you, Mr. Nugent. We appreciate that. Okay, again, your name for the record.
Okay.
And hold the microphone a little closer to you.
You always tell me that. Okay, good morning, Commissioners. My name is Lorna Wallach. I live in Valencia Sound in the Ag Reserve. I'm going to be blunt. I do not agree to allow GL to be granted a postponement. We do not want to spend more of our ad valorem tax dollars to finance GL to be allowed to twist arms and give out incentive dollars to gather support for their proposal, such as they have done with Stonebridge Country Club, and I know they're here today supporting it, and I know why. What it is, and what we know what's in it, and we do not require any further clarification. Vote today. It's a bad deal. No to the postponement.
Thank you, Ms. Wallace. We appreciate it. Ms. Scarborough, always good to see you.
Good morning. Good morning, Commissioners. Sherry Scarborough, West Boca. I'm here representing the surrounding communities that would have greatest impact, and they are in favor of postponement until we do have further information on the water. We definitely are very much interested. There's talk again and again about workforce housing, yet it doesn't seem to happen, but here it is being brought to us, and for that reason we ask for you to postpone. Thank you.
And Sherry, we found your card, so you don't have to fill out another one.
And then we did have one card submitted recently, Fatima Nahame, and Fatima Nahame.
Good morning, Commissioners. Fatima Nijem, live in 11291 Cowan Court in Lake Worth, very close to the Ag Reserve, and I urge you to not postpone. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your succinct comments. All right, I see nobody else standing. We seem to have run out of cards, so we are now going to deliberate. I have a light on from Commissioner McKinley.
Thank you, Mayor Weinroth. I'm going to be long-winded this morning, so bear with me. I just want to address two comments I heard from the public. The first one was they, and I assume by they meant GL. They don't want to build in Indian Trail groves. And I just want to make it very clear for the record, I went to GL Homes and asked them to consider this proposal. I joined my constituent back there, Ms. Ramos, don't want them to build in the Indian Trail Improvement District area. And number two, there was a comment about home builders not being the experts and not building water projects. And to that argument, I would say that a guy who digs rocks out of the ground in an aggregate pit's probably not the best. People would assume that they shouldn't be the ones building a water project, but here they are building the C-51 reservoir, a public-private partnership where you've got a private entity that has received well over $100 million to build a reservoir, that they will then turn over the operation of that to a public entity in a full public-private partnership. So it can be done. Things are being done differently these days because of the restrictions on the ability to raise revenue, also on staffing shortages, and so many members of the public say they want government to run more like a private business, and here we have an opportunity to help make government more efficient and run more like a private business, and to be able to come up with creative solutions to our water issues. The other issue I have is one of frustration. I don't really want to postpone either, but the applicant has that right to make that request per Florida statute. So if you are frustrated with Florida laws, I recommend that each of you let your Florida legislators know about your frustration with Florida law. We have to operate under the guise of Florida law and those laws that are passed down to us from the legislature. Allowing them to make this request is one of those laws. And I certainly am going to respect this request. And I want you to know that it's coming to us out of a 4 o'clock on a Friday afternoon memo that magically appeared from county administration long after the documents for this hearing were published, and not within enough time frame for us county commissioners to have a full review of that. That came out on Friday afternoon. I think I saw it over the weekend and then got a little bit of a staff briefing on that memo on Monday afternoon. And here we are on Wednesday expecting to be able to vote on something when it was staff that is raising the questions. I have worked as a legislative aide to 2 members of Congress and in some respect to our county legislative delegation, and I can tell you as a staff member, if I ever threw a curveball at the midnight hour, like staff has done, the county administrator has done not once, but twice in the last week, the last one being that last-minute pitch to try to increase the requirement for workforce housing in the Ag Reserve from 25% to 35%, without any heads up and without any direction from staff to do that, I would have been fired. And so I equally is frustrated with you. I was prepared to make a vote on this today, but staff has now raised some questions that they are seeking answers, and I think GL has the right to be able to respond to those questions, and that is what they are asking for today. This project, and I did receive a late yesterday warning shot that was delivered to me through a messenger from a gentleman who's very engaged and influential in South County politics, that let this be a lesson to me about making requests that affect other county commission districts. And I think that is completely inappropriate, and just like to remind you that if you look at this agenda item, it says BCC districts impacted by this are District 6 and District 5. Part of the Ag Reserve is in my district, and the other area that's being affected by this is my district. And that's the area that nobody has talked about. No member, the media and both of their editorials that they have written have completely ignored and disregarded the environmental benefits of this proposal. And I read to you from staff assessment right here on page 2 of our hearing agenda. The proposed amendment represents a departure from the vision anticipated for the Ag Reserve as stated in the comprehensive plan objectives and policies. However, the proposal offers a potential to achieve a long-term outcome that could improve regional water management and the movement of water to the Lake Worth Lagoon and potentially even the Loxahatchee Slough and river system, as well as the potential to store water during periods of inundation and address water quality within the L8 basin. Nobody's talking about that. I mean, we've had folks that have come up here and said we don't care about the environment. This idea, this think outside the box, is caring about the environment. Yes, does it change things in the Ag Reserve? Yes, but that Hyder parcel has no environmental benefits beyond row crops. It doesn't have the ability to be part of a water project conversation. It's simply in the Ag Reserve. It is surrounded, it's got a horse track behind it and development on either side of it and development across the street from it.
Commissioner, I'm going to...
I'm getting there.
Okay.
Mayor, this is the last time. I've worked on this for 6 years.
I understand.
This is the last opportunity I have to talk about this. And we have an opportunity. We don't own that property. GL Homes owns that property. They could pull their row crop operation off of that and leave that land fallow. Nothing is done with it. What we have is the opportunity for the county to own 1,600 acres. What we have is the opportunity for the county to maintain a long-term lease on a piece of that property with a family that was named, I think it was 2021, the Florida Agricultural Family of the Year. That's the Hunley family. We have the opportunity. So many of the people who spoke today have been sitting at the table, and I'm going to ask Kevin if he could please, I asked earlier today, this morning before the meeting, if they
Commissioner,
could...
one of your colleagues is asking me to ask you to sum up your remarks.
I don't care what she's asking. Could you pull up the slide, please, that shows the aerial of this property?
Sure.
Thank you.
Mayor?
Commissioner Sachs, yes.
Point of privilege. We've given folks here 2 minutes to speak on one issue alone, and that's postponement.
Commissioner Sachs, I understand your point, and I understand that Commissioner McKinley is heavily invested in this, and
And so
if
am
this
I.
post, and if,
And so are we.
excuse me, I'm going to ask the audience to observe but not participate. Commissioner Sachs, if we postpone today, obviously Commissioner McKinley will not have the opportunity to have any input into this. I'm going to, unless this board overrules me, give her a little more latitude.
If I may, we as commissioners should follow the same rules that the people who elected us are following. We have been only asked to opine on a motion to postpone.
The chair
If
has
in
made
fact-
the chair has made a ruling. If I'm not overruled by my colleagues, I'm going to allow the commissioner a little more time.
Then will you allow all of us as much time as we
Commissioner
want?
Sachs, I will be very happy to allow you the time you would like before we have the vote on if a motion is made.
Please record my objection to commissioners getting different rules than the people who elected us are given. Thank you, sir.
Commissioner Sachs, your remarks are noted. Commissioner McKinley, please
Well,
bring this
thank
to an
you.
end.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm not aware of any operating policy that this board has that restricts the elected member of a county commission from stating their opinions on the record. We do have statutes that guide us and policies and operating procedures that guide us in public testimony, but not when it comes time for the elected official to actually state their opinion on the record, nor have I ever tried to limit your debate. I will continue with my remarks. Kevin, thank you for pulling this up. Right there is where you see that red arrow is where you see the Indian Trail Grove property. And there has been a lot of conversation since 2009. I have attended the 16 County Coalition on Lake Okeechobee meetings where we receive, that was as a staff member, and then I was appointed to that board by the mayor starting in 2014, where we receive quarterly updates from the Army Corps of Engineers and the Water Management District and other governmental agencies, updating us on the progress of Everglades restoration. Initially, one of those projects that was in that plan that we have been working on prioritizing was the restoration of the Loxahatchee River and returning the historic flows to that river. In 2016, that plan got gutted when a proposal came in the middle, out of nowhere, and definitely out of order, to remove 60,000 acres out of active agricultural production in the EAA and turn that into a water storage project. I don't recall anybody in this room sitting next to me in the chamber in Tallahassee fighting against taking farmland out of active agricultural production, and probably because of the environmental benefit of having that water storage capacity being introduced into this area, which they perceived as being a regional benefit. Obviously, that wasn't never done at 60,000 acres. It was reduced to 10,000 acres, but it also drew a lot of the funding priority away from other projects. And many members in this room who spoke today have been part of a conversation about that missing link and that flowway to be able to provide water back up to the Loxahatchee River as the Everglades Restoration Plan has asked for. This is the missing piece. At first, it was going to be the Mecca land. The Water Management District came in with a different proposal. So we still need that missing link, and this is that missing link. The environmental benefits here, not only do they restore the water to the Loxahatchee River, they also bring in new water to Grassy Waters, and they provide backup storage to the Lake Worth Drainage District, so water supply down to South County. And they also provide the ability to clean the water before it flows into the Lake Worth Lagoon. And that is the part of this whole puzzle that nobody in the media has had the ability to shine a light on. It's all about the Ag Reserve.
Commissioners,
I'm getting there. And there is no deference given to the people who live in this part of the county. The emails that I saw about how this area doesn't matter, it's not as important, it's just sad. This is part of the county and there's a huge benefit. So, Mayor, I think that what we have before us is a really good proposal that deserves continued conversation. If staff raised the questions in a 4 p.m. on a Friday afternoon memo, GL ought to have the ability to answer those questions. Therefore, I make a motion to postpone.
I have a motion by Commissioner McKinley to postpone. Do I have a second? Second. I have a second by Commissioner, oh boy, Moreno, I'm so sorry. All right. I'm going to make a comment, and then I'm sure Commissioner Sachs has a comment. I think I'm less concerned about the timing of the memo that came out of staff on August 26th. I think it's a very complicated transaction that we're contemplating. I think that it has something that has merit. I think this board, by its last 2 votes on this, have demonstrated that we're pretty evenly split on whether we see this as a possibility. But we certainly have said twice now that there's enough here to at least have conversation and see if we can't find a way to balance the equities, balance the obvious concern about taking a piece of ag reserve and transferring it and basically trading it for a piece of real estate in another part of the county. I have GL's request here, dated August 30th, and they make a very reasonable request that after reading the letter that they received on the August 26th, that there are obviously unresolved points regarding the proposed water project, and they believe those questions and unresolved points are important for our consideration, and as a result, they're requesting this postponement. And I understand Commissioner McKinley's angst because she probably won't be here when this matter comes back if we decide to postpone it today. And we're not district commissioners. Yes, we're elected by single-member districts. We are county commissioners. And as a county commissioner, I care more about this entire county than I just worry about District 4. If it was just District 4, I probably wouldn't care about many of the things that are coming up here. Workforce housing, because things are pretty okay in District 4 as far as housing. As far as food problems, as far as a lot of the problems we deal with up here for our residents in the county, and we are county commissioners, and I will have no problem if an issue comes up and I'm asked to move something forward in District 1, 2, 3, 5, 7, 6, and I think all of us have that same responsibility to be county commissioners. So I am going to, as I said in the emails I sent out last night to the residents who had sent me their points, that I will support this today because I think it deserves further conversation. And I think that if I'm a betting man, this is going to be another 4-3 vote. So we'll see which way it goes. Commissioner Sachs, your light is not on, but I am going to give you the courtesy of allowing you to respond before Commissioner Kerner and Commissioner Bernard.
You may want to go last.
Thank you very much for calling on me without my light, but I'd like to hear from my colleagues first, if you don't mind.
Very good, Commissioner Sachs, and I am always willing to show you the courtesy that you deserve. Commissioner Bernard.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Some folks are giving me credit for the prayer, but we do have a book of prayers, so.
But you're going to be our permanent prayer giver.
So
You're revealing all our secrets, Commissioner. Why are you telling them this?
So, you know, some folks think that this is an easy decision for us as a Board of County Commissioners, but as you can see, that this issue is going to be a 4-3 either way on whether or not we should grant this postponement. Want to thank staff for raising the issue in regards to the water, and also with GL sending a response in regards to needing more time and requesting this postponement. However, for me, I've been a county commissioner since 2016, and this issue's been around since 2016. And I know everybody's saying this is an easy decision, but I haven't been able to sleep for the past week on this item. So, but it's not about me, because I signed up for this job, to do this job, and so I've been stressed about it. But the residents who are here, this issue has been percolating since 2016. They are here, and we as county commissioners should respect the residents and have the issue heard today. So in that way, this issue can be ironed out today. So I will not support the postponement. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Bernard. Commissioner Kerner, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. I think it's ridiculous that we're considering postponing this. All the reasons given by my dear friends and colleagues up here hold no water whatsoever, because the bottom line is we agreed to go through a process to finally adjudicate this issue. Like Commissioner Bernard has said, it's been around since 2016. It's been around that long because it hasn't mustered the support to pass it into law by a majority of this board. When we talk about postponing, it's not to have a conversation later about this water issue, and here's why. It's a tactical decision because apparently the support for this proposal isn't here right now for the project. But we can transmit today, if there's enough support, we can transmit, and then we have a lot of time to talk about before it comes back for adoption. So there's really absolutely no reason to kick this can down the road. The other thing that is surprising to me is that, you know, the optics of this are not great right now. And the board is being asked to postpone this for an amorphous reason. I had GL in my office, I think on Monday. They know that I'm not voting for this, but they were kind enough to brief me on it. But this is now Monday after the Friday. They didn't come to me and say, hey, we need to talk, we need some more time. They briefed me on the water project, and then they left. They didn't tell me they were going to postpone. And I can tell you as a lawyer, in my experience, that these last-minute proposals to postpone trials, adjudications of large issues in the community are tactical decisions. And I don't appreciate that because look at all the constituents in the room. Look how much anxiety you've talked about, that you've had. What about the people that are directly affected by this since 2016? And now we want to take a postponement. The one thing that Commissioner McKinley said when she brought this issue forward, and she stands by that, and she's proud of that, and I commend her for that. She brought this issue forward, and she said, I don't want this to drag on forever. I want us to vote on this while I'm still on the board. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I recall that you said that because I was sitting right here, and I was actually encouraged by that because I don't want this thing to sit around where there's either support for it or there's not. There's either support for lifting conservation easements or not. You know, this public-private partnership concept, it shouldn't go as far as governments receiving things of value in exchange for getting other entitlements on land. That's not how we should make our decisions. We can extract those if it's a good public policy decision, but that shouldn't be the catalyst for why we make these decisions. And so, listen, if the support's here today for this proposal, not the postponement, but the actual proposal, that's fine. We've done the process. I'm going to be able to sleep okay tonight if it passes today. But don't give this facade that there's some sort of dialogue that needs to go on. It's not fair to these folks. It's not fair to the board. It's not fair to the staff. This is GL Day. In the legislature, we used to have Palm Beach County Day and, you know, gun rights days and all these different days. Well, we set aside this time for GL's proposal to be adjudicated by this board. This is the board that brought it forward. This is the board that needs to vote on it. And yes, Commissioner McKinley won't be here if this postponement passes. So let's give her the courtesy to vote on what she brought forward. So don't, and by the way, the last thing I want to say is that I don't mind that this board is flexible and tries to accommodate everyone's request and listen to the issues. We do that not just for GL, we do that for every person that steps in this room. But there's a difference between accommodating an applicant and bending over backwards to accommodate their time frame, and that's what we're doing here today. When we took this on, we said, hey, give us your best shot, make your best proposal, and we're going to vote on it. That's all we promised to do. We didn't promise to make exceptions in this process so that they can get the vote precisely when they want us to vote on it. That's our decision. And so what I would say to GL is, we've given you all this time. You presented a good product, something to talk about, and I appreciate that. You know where I'm at. I'm not voting for it because of a larger issue of the conservation easements. But we've provided to you what we said we would do. And so any commissioner can look at GL if you're afraid that you're going to upset them and say, hey, we did what we said we would do. We gave you an opportunity to put this before the public. You, at the last minute, asked for a continuance, a postponement. That's on you, and you can hold your head high. So don't vote yes on this postponement. Let's adjudicate this and be done with it.
Thank you, Commissioner Kerner. Commissioner Marino.
Thank you. I did second the motion. I am in favor of the motion. The one thing we're not really talking about right now is water. Everybody talks about the bond. And in the bond specifically, it says, shall Palm Beach County issue general obligation bond to implement a land acquisition program for conservation purposes by financing acquisition of, and in specific instances, the cost of certain capital improvement projects to environmentally sensitive lands, land for water resources, greenways, agricultural land, and open space not exceeding $150 million. $100 million of that bond did get spent in the Ag Reserve. Actually, after some selling of land and whatnot, it ended up being roughly $85 million, I believe. But the other $50 million, a lot of that got spent in the north end of the county, District 6, District 1. And if we look at a memo from Ken Todd from May 3rd of 2018, he ties in all of this land in Indian Trail for water storage, water improvement, water filtration. We're not talking about that. So if it takes us another 6 months to figure out how a public-private partnership between GL and the county can establish a 1,600-acre water storage facility, and all of those that live in Indian Trail who are on septic don't get threatened by flooding and having that septic leach into the water, I'm willing to give them that time. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Marino. All right, I have no more lights. Commissioner Sacks, one more time. Do you have any comments before we call a vote?
Well, of course I do, but I'd like to hear also from all the commissioners. This is a
I
very,
think we have everybody
One
who
more time?
wants to speak.
all right. I certainly want to speak. Thank you, Mayor. This is not an easy meeting for you to run, and I applaud your efforts. This is an issue, obviously, that's been around for 6 years. I was not serving on this board when it came up. I was serving on the Florida Senate's Board of Water. I never bring that up because sometimes I don't think it makes that much difference, but it does in this instance. I learned, serving on that select committee of the Senate, that those who are in charge of water, the Army Corps of Engineers and the South Florida Water Management, not 67 counties. Water is a beautiful thing. Listening to some experts the other day, and I, like my colleagues, have spent some time thinking about this issue, and most of it at night, wondering what to do. Water is like a transportation system. It is a transportation system. It's a little bit like I-95 or the Turnpike. It's run, when the Turnpike runs through many counties, it is, the authority of the Turnpike is the state of Florida, not different counties. I-95 runs all the way up the spine of North America, and it is controlled by those authorities, federal and state, not counties, not cities. Water is the same thing. Private companies do not take care of water systems, period. Just like they don't take care of our Florida Department of Transportation on the Turnpike or on I-95. These are big issues. This issue is not handled by a particular developer, no matter how big or rich or nice they are. GL is a good developer. In fact, they are very nice to me. They came in on Monday to see me. Came in on, let me repeat that. They came in 2 days ago to see me. Appreciate it. It's my district that we're talking about, and we're talking about the entire county. I appreciate they came in 2 days before the hearing, but they brought in an expert. And I sat down with this expert, and I drilled him. He's a smart guy. They said he's a smart man, and he is. I hope he's here today. But he told me that this was the right thing to do, to store this water in 4 feet of water up in North County. Now, they've had this expert for a while, and they should have. They're a big, rich company, and they got a lot of work to do in this county, don't they? I mean, they have an expert, and I listened to him. And all of a sudden, last night, yesterday at 3 or 4 p.m., we get this letter. You can't talk out of both sides of your mouth. If you have an expert that says you've got this water issue solved, by God, you've got an expert, let's listen to him. You're the applicant. My colleague on this board has said she's worked on this for 6 years. Let's bring it to a head. Let's get it done. Or as that comedian said, get her done. Let's get it done. This is a difficult decision. We signed up for difficult decisions. We didn't sign up for kicking the can down the road. This is our decision to make today. Yay or nay, let's make the decision. I'm not going to opine on what I think about how we should vote on that decision, but I'll tell you right now, we are county commissioners. We are elected officials. You all are residents. You take time off of work to come here. Some of you, I know when I see you in the hallway. I've seen you so many times. If I see you at Publix, I'd say hello. It's because you care about what we do. We are elected by you. We represent you, not private developers. We have to listen to you. And that's what we should do today. Listen to you, make the decision, and let's move on. Today is the day. This is the board. This is the decision. Let's not postpone. Let's take it to a vote. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Commissioner Sachs. Vice Mayor Weiss?
I have a question for staff. What's the policy or legislation regarding a postponement? When is it? Can you explain when it is mandated, when it is at the discretion of the board?
Sure. So the Unified Land Development Code speaks to postponements and the process for that. If a postponement request is received prior to publication of the agenda, that postponement would go forward. If a postponement request is received after publication of the agenda, then the item is to be deliberated by the board for their discretion on the item. So it's based on publication of the agenda, whether it can just happen by right or whether it has to come to you for a vote.
Okay, thank you.
All right, I'm going to call a vote. The clerk is going to ask each of you for a yay or a nay, and a yay means that we will postpone to a date certain, which is?
We're going to a date certain.
So on the second page of the letter that we received when they requested to postpone it to Amendment Round 23B, I believe, it highlighted May 2023 for the transmittal hearing.
I'm assuming we have to do all new notices, and so it doesn't matter whether it's a date certain or not, we're just basically.
Sure,
postponing.
we would, this is a big issue, we would want the public to be aware, so yes,
Right.
we would be,
So for the purposes of this motion, it is a yay to postpone, it's a nay to continue this hearing and deal with it on the substantive issues. Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Kerner.
No.
Commissioner Marino.
Yes.
Commissioner McKinley.
Yes.
Commissioner Sacks.
No.
Commissioner Bernard.
No.
Vice Mayor Weiss.
Yes.
Mayor Weinroth.
Yes. This matter is postponed. I really appreciate everybody's coming out today. I think you understand from the comments made up here, this is a difficult decision. I think that there is ample evidence that there is reason to continue, and we thank you very much for coming today and giving us your input. All right, I'm going to look for any comments from our Assistant County Attorney.
No.
Okay, Planning Director.
Just that I will see you all tomorrow.
Okay, Zoning Director.
Can we ask the public?
Okay, I'm going
they'll see you tomorrow.
I'm going to ask the audience, we have to tie this meeting up. Please be quiet. Thank you. Executive Director?
No, just see you tomorrow.
Thank you. Assistant County Administrator?
None.
Thank you. I'm going to go through the commissioners. I'll ask you to hit your light if you have any comment. Commissioner McKinley, you're recognized.
Mr. Mayor, I want to thank you. I do want to point out that there are some, the issue of transportation. If you travel to Leon County, there's a private landowner in Leon County who had a public-private partnership idea that they ended up bringing to fruition. They built the Orchard Parkway and turned that into a Sun Pass, into a toll road within Florida's Turnpike system. And so there are certainly those types of public-private partnerships when it comes to public infrastructure that are being done around the state, so it's not unusual. I really want to thank staff for all of the work. I won't be up here in May of 2023, but I will certainly be watching. But to Kevin and to Brian and to Patrick and to Ramsey and everybody who's played a role in trying to continue to discuss this project, I just want to say thank you for your dedication. You guys have been slammed, and I know this wasn't easy, and I appreciate all of your efforts. Thank you,
Thank
Mayor.
you, Commissioner McKinley. And with that, we're adjourned. Commissioner Marino, I'm sorry. Okay. We're adjourned.